Would you like to see how real consultants from McKinsey, Bain, and BCG solve case interviews? Because in this video, we're going to share with you an example of what a case interview is and what a Bain consultant does when he encounters a case. So as you go through your case interview prep for the case interview, you know what it takes to pass your interview and land your offer. Hi, my name's Jing with My Consulting Offer. Our company helps people from all types of backgrounds land their dream jobs at top consulting firms. If you're just joining us today, click subscribe so you will get new videos on landing your dream consulting job as soon as they drop. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a case with the founder of My Consulting Offer and former Bain consultant, Davis Wynn, to give you an example of what a case interview is. We have shared our proven 4-step process for cracking a case interview. If you missed it, click the link in the description box below to case interview prep. There is the opening, where you make sure you understand the question you're being asked. Second, the structure, where you frame out an approach to solve the problem. Third, the analysis, where you ask for data, ask for further case details, and do the math and thinking required to solve the problem. Finally, the conclusion, where you make a logical and persuasive recommendation to the client. In this video, we're going to go through one of these parts: the opening, the structure, the analysis, as well as the conclusion. The case you will be watching is a real past McKinsey case interview prompt. The goal of this is to show you how a Bain consultant would solve a case, so that you know what a good case answer looks like and can emulate it. Let's begin. I'm gonna play the interviewer, and Davis will play the candidate. I'll see you inside. So our client today is Super Soda, and it's a top 3 beverage producer in the US, and they've approached McKinsey for help in designing a product launch strategy. And they're an integrated beverage company, which means they own the brand design, the marketing, and sales efforts. In addition, Super Soda owns the entire supply chain, including production of concentrates, bottling, packaging, and distribution to retail outlets. Super Soda has a considerable number of brands across carbonated drinks as well as non-carbonated drinks. They have 5 large bottle plants across the country and distribution agreements with most retailers. Super Soda is evaluating the launch of a new product, a flavored sports drink called Electrolyte. Sports drinks are usually designed to replenish both energy, so sugar, and electrolytes, salts in the body. However, Electrolyte is a little different in that it's being formulated more to aid the replenishment of electrolyte and has reduced sugar content compared to other most sports drinks in the market. The company expects this beverage to capitalize on the recent trend away from sugar-rich products. So, McKinsey has been brought in by the Vice President of Marketing, who has asked us to help her evaluate the major factors surrounding the launch of Electrolyte and its own internal capabilities to support it on outwards. As a result, we want to know what factors would you consider when forming a product launch strategy for our client.
Thanks for the information. Just to make sure I have all the information correct. So our client today is Super Soda. So they're a top 3 beverage company in the US. Is that correct?
That's right.
So it seems like to me we're building a launch plan for the client for Electrolyte. But are there other objectives that they would consider to be a successful launch?
Success for a client would be to be profitable within the first year.
Got it. So they want us to build a launch plan, but also be profitable within the first year. Mm-hmm. So a couple of questions I'd love to understand before we dive in is, first off, you mentioned that we're a US-based company. So does that mean that the launch will be just in the US, or are we launching to other regions or other countries perhaps?
Well, we're targeting the US market.
Got it. And within the US, so I know there's different regions in the US, like the South, the North, Northeast, Midwest. Are we targeting the whole country, or is there a particular region, city?
Oh, yeah, we're launching countrywide.
Got it. So countrywide effort in the US. And just so I know, so we're being brought in to produce this launch strategy for our client. Have they started working on a strategy, or are we building this from scratch?
So the client has done some research, so we will be continuing their work.
Got it. So it seems like the client's already done some preliminary research, which will help us out there. So this is super helpful. So I think I have all the information I need to get started. But before I share our approach with our client, could I take a moment to structure an approach, and then you and I can discuss it together? So in order to help our client Super Soda determine how they can launch their product and make a profit within a year, I'd like to look at 2 buckets. So the first bucket I'd like to look at is, could we actually be profitable within the first year? And the second bucket is around the market conditions. So we can see if there's a certain market or a certain launch strategy that we can use in order to achieve our target. To begin with the first bucket, I'd like to look at our expected profits and our product launch capabilities. Under the profits, I'd like to know if we'd be profitable within a year or not. I'd like to look at first our revenue, which includes the price that we plan to sell electrolyte at and how many units we expect to sell. On the cost side, I'd also like to understand the variable costs, for example, how much it takes to produce even one bottle of electrolyte, as well as the fixed costs, such as the factory overhead and the staff salaries I expect us to pay. By knowing the revenue as well as the cost, we'll be able to find the break-even point for the client, and we'll be able to tell them if it's possible for them to make a profit within a year, which I know is their objective. After we establish the break-even point, I want to look at if it's possible to achieve this break-even point by looking at our internal capabilities to support the launch. I want to know whether Super Soda has the capabilities to actually launch electrolyte effectively. I want to look at, for example, the marketing capabilities as to whether or not we can get the word out on electrolyte and attract the consumers, as well as our product production capabilities. Can we actually make it and get it out geographically all over the country where supply is needed? And in terms of the distribution channels, I would like to be able to know if we can actually access the right distribution channels and to be able to get our product into the right shelves or the right spaces. And after determining if we're able to make a profit within the first year and we have the internal capabilities, I'd like to shift our focus then to the market conditions that would be needed to support electrolyte in our goal. I'd like to look at whether there is a strong market for electrolyte, what's the size of the sports drinks market, whether there are segments within the sports drinks market space, and are there segments growing over time or are they not? Finally, I'd like to look at our competition. Who are competitors? What are their market shares? What comparative advantages do they have over us? And what's their reaction going to be once they find out that we're entering the market? My hypothesis is that since we're one of the 3 big beverage companies in the US and that we control the entire supply chain, that we should have some cost advantages that other players do not. And as a result, we should be able to reach our target of reaching profitability within a year of launching, especially since this market is one that you mentioned is a growing trend and people want healthier drinks. Unless the client has a preference, we can begin by looking at the launch and seeing if it could actually be profitable.
Great! Those are all fantastic factors to consider. So after sharing your opinion with the marketing team in Super Soda, they really want to know more about consumer preference and also the beverage market. So our team just went ahead and got the following information, which I'm going to share this with you. So this information shows you an estimate of the share of electrolyte drinks, as well as the current share up to our competitors, Cool Sweat and Recover Plus. So the questions that we have for you are based on the target price as well as the upfront cost. What share of the electrolyte market would we have to capture in order to break even? Okay, here are a couple of additional information for you to consider as you are forming your response. First, electrolyte would launch in a 16-ounce presentation. That's about 1/8 of a gallon with the price of $2 to retailers. Second, in order to launch electrolyte, Super Soda would need to incur a one-time upfront $40 million in fixed costs. So this includes the marketing expenses as well as the increased cost to enhance our production and distribution network. And third, the Vice President of Operation estimates that each bottle would cost about $1.90 to produce and would be delivered within this new process.
So in order to help our client determine the share of the market they'll need, I'll need to determine the break-even point. So before I do that, I want to run through and just make sure I have all the information here. You mentioned that this will be in a 16-ounce presentation, so a 16-ounce bottle, and that each bottle is priced at $2, and each bottle is going to cost $1.9 to produce. And we have $40 million in fixed costs. Therefore, we're making 10 cents in gross profits a bottle. 10 cents a bottle relative to the $40 million in fixed costs means that we're actually going to have to sell 400 million bottles in order to break even, which I got by dividing 40 million by 10 cents. The electrolyte or sports drink market is 5% of that, so that's 400 million gallons. If we have 400 million units in terms of the market and we have 8 cans per gallon, then we need to sell 50 million gallons in order to break even. That's 50 million gallons relative to the 400 million gallon market, which is 12.5%, which I got from dividing 50 million by 400 million.
So what do you think about that 12.5%?
So I think 12.5% is actually doable given that we're a top 3 company, especially in the beverage space. But looking at the earlier exhibit that you shared with me, I think it might be a little harder than we might anticipate, given how our competitors are currently doing in the market right now. You can see that Cool Sweat currently has 20% of the market. Recovery Plus, the second biggest competitor in the market, has 10% of the market. So in total, the two big competitors have 30% of the market, and the remaining 70% is split between a number of small players. I think the fact that 70% of the market is split between a number of small players means that there's an opportunity for us to capture the 12.5% we want and take away shares from even Cool Sweat and Recovery Plus if we have the product and marketing efforts to get the market to notice and buy our product.
Okay, so it sounds like we still have to essentially evaluate that. The executives believe that the company's position as a top 3 beverage company actually gives them a strategy strength towards this goal of 12.5%. However, they have asked the team to outline what would they need to achieve in order to hit that 12.5% share of the market. To help you, our team conducted a consumer survey. What can you conclude from the results of the survey to help our client plan their launch?
Thanks for the information. This is some interesting information for us to work with. So on the left-hand side of the graph, you can see that there are 3 different segments to the sports drink market: the leisure drink segment, the healthy natural drink segment, and the energy replenishing drinks segment. I'll take a look at each of these segments one by one and provide insights into if I think we should enter each market. In the first segment, leisure drinks, you can see from the chart that Cool Sweat already has a substantial portion of the market. In fact, they're right about 50% of the market right now. So I would say that it'd be tough for us to break into this market given how dominant Cool Sweat is already. In the energy replenishing drink segment, we notice the same issue here. Recovery Plus is the biggest brand here, and they have 70% of the market. However, applying the same logic, you can actually see that the healthy natural drink segment of the market looks good for us to enter. Because you can see here that there are 70% of that portion of the market is currently being filled by other smaller firms instead of just one major company. I think there's a real opportunity here for us to break into this part of the market, and it would be best for us to position electrolyte as a healthy natural drink. In terms of sales channel, which is what the right-hand side is showing us, it's interesting that the sales channel for sports drinks market looks a lot different from the other drinks that Super Soda is selling right now. So where supermarkets represent 60% of the channels for other beverages, for sports drinks, they're only 30% of the market. Now, supermarkets and convenience stores are still a pretty large portion of the market at 60%. So I certainly would want us to make sure that electrolyte was strong enough in those portions of the market as well. But I'm also interested in the fact that 30% of the sports drinks are sold in channels that are categorized as other. And I'm wondering what these other channels could be. Might it be, for example, vending machines? Could it be small stores at a park or sports arenas or less common channels like these? I think we need to better understand this other bucket of the market better and be able to make sure that in terms of distribution, we get our product to the market and get that shelf space. Naturally, that could be an area where we could have a competitive advantage if we become better at addressing that distribution channel than our competitors are.
Great, those are good ideas. Let's say, what if our clients want some update? What would you tell her?
Miss Vice President of Marketing, you brought in our team to help you build a launch strategy for electrolyte in order for you to make a profit within the first year. In order to do so, my team and I recommend that you launch electrolyte as a healthy natural drink and to do so in supermarkets as well as convenience stores, and then to explore other channels that our competitors are currently not in. The reason we recommend this is for 3 reasons. The first reason is right now, there's no major dominant player within the healthy natural drink. So that is an opportunity for us to move in and capture a large market share. The second reason is that right now, 60% of all sports drinks are being consumed and bought by consumers directly from convenience stores or supermarkets. And the third reason is that there's still 30% of distribution channels that we believe that if we move fast, we can actually beat our competitors too and build an advantage at. The major risk to this recommendation is that in order for us to launch electrolyte and to meet your goal of breaking even within the first year, we need to capture 12.5% of the overall market. And we haven't done a feasibility analysis just yet to know if 12.5 is actually doable within the year. So if given more time, my team and I would love to do a feasibility analysis just to figure out what we need to do and what we need to believe in order for your company to be able to capture that 12.5% before we invest the $40 million into launching electrolyte.
We'll take that into consideration.
All right. So you just watched David solve the case. Now you've seen what an opening, a structure, an analysis, and finally what a conclusion looks like. You know what an example case looks like done by a former bank consultant,
and hopefully you feel more confident about what you're gonna do. Or if you feel overwhelmed, don't worry. We have helped over 500 clients just like you to land an offer. If you feel like you need some one-on-one coaching to help you land an offer, then click the link in the description box below to book a free strategy consultation with me and my team. For a limited time, I have asked my consulting offer team of former recruiters from Bain, BCG, and McKinsey to help anyone who's watching this video on YouTube get more interviews and land more offers. When you click the link in the description box, and you will be able to book a free 30-minute strategy session with one of our team members. The best part? Typically, we charge $1,000 for these strategy sessions. But until the slots run out, you can grab one of the 1,000 strategy sessions today, absolutely free. All you need to do is click the link in the description box below and schedule your free strategy session. We have limited capacity, so do this now while you still can. After the call, you will be one step closer to a job in consulting. Check out these client results from people just like you.
I got an offer at McKinsey, which is my dream job, dream firm, dream location. For someone who is so worried that their resume wasn't from a target school and their background wasn't a target, whatever, I still managed to get interviews with all 3 of the MBBs, like not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that would have never been possible without MCO. I think this is just like the best thing ever.
This was 3rd or 4th session with my coach. I was feeling at the time very confident because I had done very well the first 3 cases. That session, I bombed it completely. I felt helpless in terms of like they really pushed me outside of my comfort zone. That was really a turning point for me because I had gone way too confident with my prep, and that case really fell from the sky to help me because even though I did horribly, it sort of got me into the mindset that I don't think I'm ever going to reach a point when I'm perfect at absolutely everything. In that case specifically, after that, I started reviewing sort of similar cases, but at the same time, I asked my coach to really throw me outside of my comfort zone just to see how I would react to that. That really helped a lot. There's a lot of information out there, and what you guys did very well is just you structured it in a way that it's just a step-by-step process, which I really enjoyed. I got an summer internship and also full-time from McKinsey in the Mexico City office.
My name is Connor Brennenberg. My background is liberal arts. I was working in Ghana with a nonprofit for the summer. And while I was there, I actually ended up meeting someone from my school who was an alum who was working in consulting. I asked my manager if I could do a consulting-like project to fix things and improve them in the organization. And then after that, I was like, wow, this would be really cool to do as a job, as a career. When I heard about Davis's program and I talked with other people who had done it through this site, I ended up connecting with them. The moment I looked at over his videos and saw a preview of it, my friend sent some materials to me and I was like, wow, this is incredible. I need to talk to the guy who did this. This is on a whole different level than anything else I've ever seen before.
I got a job offer for PwC strategy and Singapore office. Yeah, definitely. It's worth it. The experience alone just demonstrate that they are definitely good consultants and they definitely understand the process more than anyone else. And also the commitment the team have made to the candidates, I think it's uncomparable with other programs.
I'll see you in the next video.